Y'all about to see Myron shut TF up.
Boom, headshot.
Myron is speechless.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Money music! As you can see, the fall of Fresh and Fit is inevitable, and it has been quite rewarding for many of us on social media. But I believe there's a bigger lesson to be learned here. It's one thing to like people when there's money involved and you have opportunity, but what happens when money is no longer the object? What about compatibility? And just like any relationship, compatibility must be there. And when the compatibility isn't there, there's going to be strife and there's going to be issues. And that certainly is happening right now with Fresh and Fit. You see, Fresh and Fit are two different people. And outside of money and screwing chicks, there's not a lot of camaraderie there between these two guys. And it's starting to show. And one big difference of opinion is Myron's aggression towards the Jewish community. Now, Myron believes that the Jewish community is ruining the United States government.
We can hit that topic. I mean, look, I'm just gonna end with saying this. We know who runs the central banks. We know who controls the politics here in the United States, and it's a problem, all right? We need to figure out a way to take our country back from these Jewish supremacists. I said it, all right?
Oh!
That's what the is, all right? We need to take our country back.
And he typically always makes it obvious.
Unfortunately, there's some classes of people that feel that they are above being criticized, right? I criticize all races. I've criticized, blacks. I've criticized Asians. I've criticized Jews. I've criticized everybody. I've criticized fellow Arabs. I've criticized people from the Middle East. I've criticized everyone. But it just so happens, anytime you say anything negative about Israel, they call you an anti-Semite.
It's become so bad that Myron, he gets kicked out of Jewish nightclubs in Miami. But Fresh is a lot different. He doesn't really want to play the political thing, rather because he's disinterested or it's just not his thing. But Fresh doesn't feel that he can change it even if he felt like that, which I don't believe he does. So he doesn't worry about it, and he's upset that Myron has destroyed their platform because of Myron's anti-Semitic rants. Now, this is something that I want to talk about in American society today. I've noticed a good number of whites on social media who have a lot of problems with what they consider to be Jewish supremacy. I didn't notice that at first, but I'm noticing it in the last 2 to 3 years. And what I've also noticed is the recruitment or alignment with certain non-black creators to kind of push this narrative. When you see people like Sneeko, you see people like Myron, or even Candace Owens, you'll understand what's going on. Recently, Candace Owens was supposed to go to Australia.
When do we deploy troops to Australia? When do we invade Australia and free an oppressed people who are suffering under a totalitarian regime? When do we spend trillions of dollars to spread democracy in Australia? Australia currently, make no mistake, is a tyrannical police state. Its citizens are quite literally being imprisoned against their will. So when do we deploy?
But her application was rejected. Kobe Thatcher, a lady on Twitter, says Candace Owens' Australian visa has been canceled. The Labour government warns her attacks on Jewish, Muslim, and trans people have the capacity to incite discord. The lady says, I don't agree with all of her views, but the only attack here is on free speech. And pretty much you're seeing a lot of non-white political difference makers or personalities talk on the Jewish community or give an opinion on the Jewish community. And these particular blacks are considered to be crash outs. And the reason is because most of these blacks end up demonetized or losing their platform once they do it. And if you don't believe me, we can look at some historical data here. We can look at Sneeko, who is demonetized on almost every platform now. He keeps getting kicked off of Kick, which is a platform that's new. He left Rumble, YouTube, he was rebanned, and Twitch. If you look at a white creator like Just Pearly Things, she also had some interesting commentary about the Jews, and then she got demonetized on YouTube. And then there is Myron from Fresh and Fit, who Myron got, everything on Fresh and Fit pretty much demonetized because, hey, he's fighting for, the great cause of America, on behalf of whites, as it appears. But they had a situation that was going on their podcast when they had Tommy Sotomayor and another brother on the show. Now, I'm going to allow Just Tree of Logic 411 to pretty much express what was going on that day on the podcast.
But let me tell you what they was talking about at first. They was talking about how going against Jewish people on behalf of white supreme pieces as black people is a worthless cause, because what they are wanting blacks to do, and I've been saying this, I've always said this, is that white supreme pieces are inferior and they cannot fight. So they want black people to fight the Jews, and therefore once they quote unquote get rid of the Jews, then they're gonna get rid of the black people. So they're just what do you call that? Useful idiots.
I want to give a shout out to Just Tree 411. She basically covered this in a very, very detailed way, even more so than me. But I want to kind of play the clip in question, and then I'm going to come back.
We got our race, black people got jumped. We are the only demographic in America that has truthfully been targeted by the government. No one has been touched the way we have. Nobody. We literally have our towns bombed.
And you know what? Hold on. You know what they do as well? They come into the space and say, "Oh, he's status and power. I'll be your friend for a little bit.
Yep,
buddy. I'll use you, and then once you finish, you get banned. Bye bye.
Walk your
audience.
Bro, yeah.
And now I got dude. It's in plain sight.
You see,
right
they walk your ass into the fire. It's Operation Get Behind the Darky.
So as you can see, Fresh is saying, "Hey, listen, these guys, the whites are trying to recruit these." Non-blacks to basically go against the Jews, and so once that happens and you get demonetized, then they don't want anything to do with you and you lose your platform." But he then continues.
Hold on. Tell me. And then when you get banned, they say, "Oh, you did it to yourself."
Yes.
Oh, black.
Yes.
That's what they do. Yes. And then they say, "Oh, this dark, he thought he was smart. He's dumb as."
Yes, bro.
It happens all the time.
Truth, bro. Yes.
Yep. It's crazy,
They really
bro.
will look at you race like, yeah, he did it to himself, when you have all these other different races that will crash out, and the crash out is always 10 times worse than the blacks.
Yeah. And then they say, "Oh, he thought he was one of us." No, you're not.
Hey! He admits that, you did it on yourself, in word, because you thought you were one of us. And if you could look at Myron's face, he doesn't really know what to say, because pretty much he understands that, yeah, he's probably been bamboozled. You see, because Myron has been doing all of this, standing up for America on the behalf of good white people. And we've been seeing, Charleston White doing something very similar. He's out there trying to help the good white man, and trying to get some butter biscuits too. And this is what Myron has done. He's been trying to get butter biscuits also. But look at what Tommy Sotomayor is going to say.
They called me. I said, "Hey, hold on a minute. Y'all the one that's complaining about the Jews all the damn time. Y'all, it's supposed to be y'all country.
Yeah.
At the small amount of Jews have taken over your like that, that's a yo problem. You're not gonna get me. Yeah, yes. You're not gonna get me, who I know you don't like, to fight this fight for you when I know you're putting me out front. So when I lose, like you said, you've been in my space. Now you taking my people. Now you walking differently than I was walking, because you're smart enough to know not to do that.
And Tommy is a person that has been demonetized for bootlicking and buffooning, but he makes a very good point. Like, listen, the fight that the Caucasian community has with the Jewish community, well, in other words, the whites don't need my help. I'm a minority too, and I'm struggling, trying to make my way through life. And, if I crash out, then it's like, oh, okay, I don't get any support from you for crashing out, so it's not my fight. And that's 100% the right perspective, which is one of the reasons why I never come after the Jewish community. And I really don't even do the whole white supremacy thing for the most part, even though I know that it exists. And the reason why I don't is because that's saying that we can't change our perspective or our situation, when in fact we put our pants on every day, just like other humans do across the world, and we have the opportunity to take care of our things ourselves. But Myron has given up so much for a group of people who don't even want him around them. And I've played this clip so many times, I won't do it today. But remember, that was that clip with HT the Giga, and he was telling Myron like, hey man, I really appreciate the fact that you go in hard on the Jews, but you do know that if we ever get back this country, you need to go back to Africa. You know what, stop the show. In fact, I am gonna play it again.
Can I make this interesting? Can I make this interesting real quick? Myron, you were in my space the other day, and I said, you're doing a great job calling it these Jews, but, if we take this country back, we want it for white folks. And would you go home? And you said, I was born here, and I'm not going anywhere. And this is where I think the problem is with working with non-whites, is that once you think you help us, that you're just going to stay in our country. Do you still stand with that answer?
Bro, you look, man, I know you're trying to get a clippable moment here for your
No, it's the truth,
thing or
man. This
whatever.
is the
Like,
issue with whites working with non-whites.
We're over here talking about a problem, then you bring it right back into, this whole white thing. Like, dude, shut the
This whole white thing is what built this country, Myron.
Shut the up, dude.
Hey, you sand.
Hey,
It's
let's
trying
be,
to
guys.
I am in Florida. I'm in Florida, and I will knock you out on camera.
And you see Myron getting very hostile with the guy, the guy even said he was going to beat Myron up. Then again, I just want, blacks to understand that there are certain situations that are our fight, and there are certain situations that are not our fight. And I believe that we have so much opportunity worrying about what we can control. We really shouldn't worry about what other groups are doing or what other groups are trying to do. And instead, we should be focused on what we're trying to do. And if Myron would have had that perspective, he would still be monetized. He would still have more opportunities. And if he wanted to, try to get his people in better positions, he would have enough money to try to at least create opportunities for his group. This is what most other groups that do very well do for their community. The Jewish community in particular, they have their own schools, they help their own people. And those are similar things that we can do. No one is stopping us from doing that. But, to sit on X all day and complain about something that you can't stop. And that's why Fresh is basically throwing these shots at Myron indirectly, because it's like, yo, man, you got us kicked off of everything because of this. You got used by these people that you thought that liked you, and we gave up millions of dollars on behalf of them, and now we don't have anything anymore. We're not popping anymore. And we all look stupid, and now we're struggling because you wanted to have this stupid ass war with this particular group of people who that if we say something about them, they were going to cancel us. So now we don't eat as good as we used to, and it was pointless. Why did you do that? You crashed out. Why did you crash out? And he keeps on throwing these shots like, yo, those dudes don't even claim you, and you're just an N-word to them also. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy Usher Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.